I caught my wife's hotel affair, then exposed it all. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. 17 years married, no kids of our own. Megan had been divorced once before we met and had 2 daughters, Ashley and Brooke, whom I helped raise. They're 28 and 23 now. From my point of view, we've only hit small bumps along the way. We've always had what I'd call an open-door policy with each other. We talk about work stress and venting. We talk about sex. We talk about feelings, just everything. Plenty of nights we end up on the couch, tossing around thoughts about life and little armchair philosophy sessions. I truly believed our connection was strong, and our sex life was frequent, intense, and satisfying. We both keep ourselves in good shape and try to live healthy. I work in healthcare. With the way things have been, I've been clocking a lot of overtime these last 5 months. Megan works for a legal consultancy and has been working from home the past 5 months, which has created a bit of distance day to day, but when we both get a day off, we're usually locked in. Last night, I swapped the filter on the Dyson fan in our bedroom. I asked Megan if I could use her phone to update the app so I could reset the filter alert. Mine was charging by the front door. I noticed she'd set up a pattern unlock, and I almost asked her about it. While I was looking for the fan app on her phone, a Snapchat notification slid down. My stomach just fell through the floor when I read the preview. "I'll bring the special toy." I understood the words, but my mind froze. After a while, apparently I'd just been sitting there staring at the fan, Megan asked what was wrong. She has a required quarterly work trip that takes her 2 states away for 5 days each quarter. I knew the message was about the trip coming up Monday. I've lurked on Reddit for years under the radar. I've read hundreds of posts that start exactly like this, and I never imagined I'd be the one sitting on the bedroom floor, cold and stunned, unable to think. I snapped out of it and said, "Oh, just checking the IP and router info," which is how the fan pairs with the app. We've got a Chromebook, and Megan logged into Facebook on it yesterday. I put in for a week of vacation on short notice. My supervisor, Kelly, she's a solid person. I told her what I might have uncovered and that I needed time. She got it. I stayed up all night going through chats. When Megan left for the office this morning, I made sure Google location history was on and Find My Device was active. I'm suspicious of everything now, and I barely recognize myself. She doesn't know I saw the notification. I also logged into Verizon's messaging portal using her number and profile. There were at least 15,000 messages going back to February of last year. Texts, memes, flirty photos, and some explicit ones too. About 3 months ago, the texting there stopped. Not the contact, just the Verizon app. My guess is they moved things to Snapchat to be more discreet. I'm not on social media at all. I'm clueless about most of it. I just learned you can't sign into Snapchat with Facebook. You only need an email and password, and she's used this Chromebook for that. She was on it 3 nights ago, lying in bed next to me, rubbing my back while I fell asleep, sexting him right beside me. It's a younger guy from her job. Let's call him Ethan. He's married with 3 young kids. He and his wife, Samantha, both have Facebook. I've met him twice and even shook his hand. I've been stumbling around the house I custom built for Megan, wandering for hours. I'm numb. Whatever small pieces I'm actually processing feel like white-hot rage. I logged into Snapchat, and there it was, everything. I called my best friend, Tom, who's been divorced 3 times. Don't ask about his taste in partners. He pointed me to a tough-as-nails attorney, Miss Carter. My plan is to record and save everything. There are pictures of them having sex. I'm sure there's video, either on her phone or his. I keep hoping I'll wake up, but it's real. She said ugly things about me to him. She told him my insecurities. She told him, "I love you." They haven't made any long-term plans, so it reads like a straight-up sexual thing, in some twisted way that almost softens it. But mostly it makes it worse. It feels like she's tossing our whole life for this fling. She knows cheating is a hard stop for me, no second chances. Usually when she leaves for these meetings, I drive her to the airport, and we do the long goodbye. I can't even picture what I'm supposed to do now. Tom said print everything and see what I can recover from Snapchat. From what I gather, I can't pull much without her phone in hand. I'm seeing the lawyer today. I'm paying extra to jump the line, get things moving, and leave with a real plan. Part of me wants to book a flight, follow Megan to her hotel, and catch them in the act. I have access to her hotel booking preferences and added myself as a contact so I can get a key without tipping her off. I keep imagining logging into the apps in the same city and watching it unfold in real time. If I could get papers ready, I'd serve her right there. Instead, I'm planning to hand her a stack of printouts, a 600-page PDF. Samantha, the other man's wife, accepted my friend request. I'm debating whether to send her everything right now. I'm boiling over, but I don't want to lose any tactical advantage. The plan in my head: fly out Monday afternoon, check the messages, grab a key to Megan's room, and drop the package and my wedding ring on her nightstand. Then I'll sit in the bar and watch my phone explode. I'll call Ethan, tell him to meet me in the lobby, and bring my wife down. I'll let him know that a similar package is already going out to his home address by certified mail, and that I have a Facebook message ready to send to Samantha as I speak. It feels petty and small. I want to rage and scream, but I'm stuck. This morning I just kissed Megan on the cheek goodbye because I couldn't meet her eyes. I have to survive the weekend somehow. What I'm really asking is whether a spite-driven plan like this is worth it. I want to make her hurt emotionally. I feel hollowed out, less than a man. I won't entertain an apology. Cheating is the one thing I can't forgive. You make so many choices on the way to cheating. Any of them could stop it. Once it's done, it's done. Do I confront her tonight? Or do I catch her? I probably won't update. Honestly, I'm thinking about ditching social media forever and only dating someone who feels the same. P.S. I found this special toy. We have a whole chest of adult toys, but this one was already packed in her carry-on. The app-controlled kind. Looks pricey. I meet the lawyer in 90 minutes. Update 1. No idea how to post proper updates, so I'm just adding on. I met with Ms. Carter. She was surprisingly kind, even compassionate. She told me straight. Her job is to fight for my future. My job is to give her the full truth and not make it harder. I went to Kinko's and printed the file, $5.34 in color because I wanted the photos crystal clear. Shout out to Chris at Kinko's for handling it like a pro when the nudes started rolling. He asked what was going on. I told him. He looked shocked, shook my hand, and said he was sorry. I crashed at home for about 3 hours. Megan, soon-to-be ex-wife, I guess, came home around 7:30 p.m. Same as usual. The lawyer told me to skip any Hollywood barroom gotcha moment. It would make me look unhinged, not strong. Sorry to anyone who wanted a big scene. She's right. There are basically 2 tracks for divorce: contested or uncontested. I have to inform Megan that I've retained counsel. Then we either battle it out or go to mediation and file from there. So she gets home a couple hours ago. I asked if there was anything she wanted to talk about. She said, nothing besides the election. Then she asked what was bothering me. I wanted to cry, but had nothing left. I said I was wondering why there was a remote control vibrator in her luggage. Her face, pure panic. The color drained. Breathing sped up. Sweat. I asked who had the app and the code. She stammered and started crying. I pulled out 3 folders of printed texts and asked if Samantha had the app. Megan begged and said she could explain. I gave her 5 minutes. She couldn't. I told her exactly what my attorney told me to say and then told Megan to leave. She yelled that it's her house too. I said maybe so, but I'll tell everyone, family and friends, even the girls, about the affair, or she can leave now and find somewhere to stay in the meantime. She's traveling for a week anyway. She was speechless. I opened Facebook, showed her Samantha's profile, and asked, do you want me to tell her, or are you doing it right now? More crying, pleading, I love you. It wasn't supposed to go this far. And the classic, you can't do this. I said, well, I am, and sent Samantha the file with a short apology and explanation. Haven't heard back yet. I flipped through pages and read random lines out loud to Megan. I just wish we could spend the day attached to each other. Just you inside me. You feel so much more intense than any other woman I've ever been with. She sobbed and begged to talk about us. She said our marriage could survive this mistake. I told her I would never forgive her. Her word is worthless now. She threw away 17 years. I'm still considering reporting to HR, and I'm under no illusions. I'm going to tell people what she did. Thank you to everyone who responded. I'm sorry I couldn't answer everyone. I've got therapy Tuesday. Right this second I feel wired, shaky, and also crushed. Part of me wants to disappear. The house is quiet except for her crying. I told her not to come back after her trip. I'm sending friend requests and getting folks on my page. I'll blast it to everyone that way. I'll wait till morning to call the girls. I raised them since they were 11 and 6. They're 28 and 23 now. I don't know how to handle that conversation. Update 2. I've had a flood, about 1,000 requests, for updates. My new therapist said to go ahead and write. It'll help me get centered. For those correcting me about the app, you're right. What I saw pop up was running in the background, but the deep chat was on WhatsApp, not Snapchat. Either way, I saw it. And, weirdly, thank you to Dyson, the app, and the fan my brother-in-law gave me for Christmas. Here's the deeper background. I went to college in Las Vegas in the mid-90s, graduated in 99. I had fun, slept around, and decided marriage wasn't for me. It felt outdated, like it takes away your agency. I also didn't want kids. After graduating in nursing, I got good fast in cardiovascular ICU work. I moved back to Texas in 2001 to get my master's, advanced practice RN, aiming at CV surgery. Then I started prepping for med school, filling gaps. That's when I met Megan. Short, curvy, red-haired firecracker. We literally met during a code. The pull was instant. We were saying, I love you by 3 months. She had 2 daughters and had been divorced about 2 years. She was winding down an on-again/off-again thing with some guy when we started. We dated 2 years. She slowly introduced me to the girls at 11 and 6. One night, she gave me a heartfelt, pragmatic talk about what she needed. Either we were heading toward marriage or we needed to part so she could plan her life. I was still anti-marriage, and she respected that. She wasn't cornering me, just honest. We'd been living together 8 months, were each other's emergency contacts, and joked the only thing missing was adding each other to our insurance. We decided to keep going while I thought it through. 2 weeks later, I got accepted to a med school 2 hours away. I was thrilled and crushed. I had just turned 26. I realized I'd barely see her or the girls. I did the math, 7 years minimum of training, debt, and not being able to support the life we had. I panicked and chose Megan and stability. I declined med school and switched back to a master's in nursing administration. We got married in July 2003. Small, personal, just close family and friends. My parents love the girls, but they've always been a bit standoffish with Megan. On Monday, when I told my parents what was happening and that I might lose frequent contact with the girls, they admitted they'd viewed Megan as damaged goods because she'd been married before and, in their eyes, pushed me to compromise. It stung because there's a sliver of truth. After graduating, I didn't want management. I like patient care. My hospital offered ECMO certification and a perfusionist credential, competitive program. I got in. For the last 11 years, I've been doing ECMO and related work. It's been rewarding and, yeah, heartbreaking at times. About 5 years ago, Megan decided floor nursing had run its course. She wanted a 9-to-5 away from patients and drama. Through a friend, she joined a multi-state legal consultancy that works medical legal cases, abstracting patient data and packaging it per request. Saturday morning, D-Day +2. I'd slept only a few hours. My head went to dark places about the future. Thoughts of death and violence toward them and myself flashed through. I was making eggs and toast when Megan wandered in, bleary-eyed, and asked if I'd make her some too. I dumped my plate in the trash in front of her. Then I cranked up my old records at an uncomfortable volume to keep her from trying to talk. Mature, I know. I pain-shopped hard. Read the printed messages in chronological order. I both recommend and don't. By afternoon, I'd moved from Black Flag and Danzig to Torch, then breakup songs, Chris Isaac, Ray LaMontagna. Megan tried to talk again, this time a little indignant, asking what good it did to tell Samantha. I stared too long, then told Megan straight. At least Samantha gets to make informed choices instead of sacrificing for someone who betrays her. Apparently, my message landed. Things blew up for Ethan. Megan sat on the couch, sobbing. I told her I was done crying for the moment. I'd do that later after I finished what I had to do. She asked what that was. I said, to ruin your life and give you a taste of my pain. If she had any respect left for me, she'd unlock her phone and show me everything. She refused, said I'd only use it against her. The completionist in me hated that. She went to the guest room. I found her HR new hire packet. There's a corporate compliance line. I called and left a detailed report. She and Ethan discussed client info, including protected health information, over an unsecured, non-approved app. She'd supervised him on 2 projects during the time they were sexting, and they used subsidized work phones to send explicit photos and videos. Big violations. I've always seen myself as a calm, rational man. This cracked that part of me. I don't recognize this anger. Will it stop? I know that, eventually, if I want to get through this, I'll need to accept an apology and forgive on my side. I honestly don't know if I can, and that scares me. That evening, I kept notifying family and friends. I called a physician buddy to get a checkup and STD panel. He had questions. I answered. Around 8, my eyes got heavy. Sunday, D-Day +3, I drove 3 hours to see the girls. The younger one's finishing college, maybe a bit delayed, thanks to 2020. I've had intense feelings about them since this started. We've always been more friendly than father-daughter, especially the older one. We're cordial, but there's a "you're not my dad" undertone. Less so with the younger, except when they're together. I left at 5 a.m., got to their condo, their dad pays for it, around 8:45. I brought collages and good coffee. They were worried about their mom before I said a word. I told them point blank what was going on and that their mother would probably be moving in with them within 3 to 6 months. Saying it in person was the right call. I told them everything. They were disappointed in her. I also told them they didn't have to pick sides. If they decided they didn't want a relationship with me, I'd be let down, but also relieved. I asked that whatever happens between me and them shouldn't affect their relationship with my parents. They agreed. I left around 11, stopped at Tom's place, and cried some. I did my best for those girls. Their dad was absent most of their childhood and started another family 6 hours away. Tom cut me off from drinking after the last 72 hours and made me sleep on his couch. Megan blew up my phone after I left the girl's place. I ignored it. Too tired and too dark. Monday, D-Day +4. I got home around 8 a.m. and saw Megan's Porsche still there. For a second, I thought maybe she took a rideshare to the airport, but no, she hadn't gone. She'd made breakfast and asked me to sit. I did. She asked how it tasted. I said, like static. I told her I haven't really tasted or felt anything but anger and bitterness for 5 days. She called in sick and skipped the quarterly trip. She started in about being worried for me and how much she loves me. The older daughter had called her the day before and was shaken by what she'd heard. I laughed, a strange, manic laugh, and caught myself. You love me so much you ran an affair for a year and a half? You love me so much you slept with a married man? You love me so much you flushed nearly half my life? She still hadn't given me a reason. That made it worse. I pulled out the 18-year Glenfiddich my grandfather bought us for our wedding. Our tradition was a sip on our anniversary to remember that things get better with time and patience. I chugged the last third of the bottle. Sorry, not sorry. She didn't deserve any. I went to the bedroom and took down every photo of us. Lined them up on the kitchen table. She left. My attorney's office, her paralegal, called to say the petition was ready. I needed to sign before filing. Megan would be served within 10 business days. I skimmed and e-signed, buzzed on scotch. Samantha messaged me. She thanked me in a reluctant, devastated way. She didn't want to talk, but needed me to know she found more texts and videos, other women besides Megan. She kicked Ethan out and was seeing an attorney. They're in California. He's cooked. I put on music and poured a couple more drinks. Fell asleep around 4 p.m. I heard Megan come home around 10. She saw the pile of photos, started sobbing, begging me to talk. I asked one question. Why? She kept saying she didn't know. I said vicious things, told her every step to the first text was her decision. She started it. Being drunk didn't help. I laughed bitterly, stripped down, and said, "You threw this away. I'm 6 feet 4 inches, 200 pounds, and until last week I ran and lifted 4 days a week." She traded that for some pot-bellied pencil dick who wasn't going to do a damn thing for her. I showered. When I came back, she was naked in bed with candles lit, begging me to have sex with her. I turned on my camera and had her repeat what she said. Thanks to the folks who suggested that, just in case anyone ever claimed it wasn't consensual. I did it. I wasn't gentle. I put her in uncomfortable positions and pounded. I demanded anal and made her beg for it. I recorded it all. Afterward, I felt everything and nothing. Love, indifference, hatred, emptiness. I needed her and couldn't stand her at the same time. We fell asleep together. I woke up hungover and couldn't look myself in the mirror. Tuesday, D-Day +5. Therapy ran 2.5 hours. Megan followed me there and tried to confront me in the lobby. I told her I was getting help because I'd wasted most of my life on someone who couldn't even explain why she'd betray me. I was loud and tearful. The therapist saw a lot of it. In session, he prescribed a few sedatives and set another appointment for Thursday. We talked about the anger, the emasculation, the fear of the future. Last week, I felt like a complete man with a plan. Now I feel like a ship with no rudder or mast, no direction, no power to get away from the wreckage. I wanted the why. He said it's not a single question, it's a series. One version he gave me. Ask Megan, calmly, what inside herself gave her permission to do this to me. There were others, but that one stuck. I told him about the sex. He said to set explicit rules for any physical contact, and that I should stop. It would confuse and inflame everything unless reconciliation was the goal. I cried, raged, left exhausted. Outside, Megan was waiting. I walked past. Later, I got my labs done for the STD panel. The doctor told me to stop drinking and be careful with the sedatives. At home, I boxed up more of my stuff. I decided to move out. I told work I needed a face-to-face. I can't trust myself to make life or death calls at work with my head like this. I resigned with 6 weeks' notice. It's the least I can do in such a specialized role. I grabbed some groceries. I hadn't eaten more than a few bites in a week, mostly running on liquor. I made food and skipped the booze. Megan was sitting in the dark with a glass of wine, sifting through the photos she'd organized. Makeup on, date night dress, face a mess from crying. She tried to hug me. I gently pushed her back, took out my phone, and hit record. She told me Samantha called. Ethan had other women too. Megan said every ugly name I'd called her was true. She begged me to consider us. I asked why I should. She didn't consider us when she cheated. I told her I thought she was mostly sorry she got caught, and sorry she has to start over, not sorry for what she did to me. She abandoned our love 2 years ago when she started this. I laid it on thick. I told her about the compliance call and the specific rules she broke. I wasn't yelling. My hands shook, but I felt both high and hollow, like everything was draining out. I put away the groceries, ate a small sandwich, and went to bed. She was there again. I turned on the recorder and told her exactly what the therapist said about sex. In 17 years, I can't remember turning her down before. I asked her to sleep in the guest room. She refused. I said fine, I would. Wednesday, D-Day +6, I woke up with her curled against me. I slipped out, did some light exercise, and started on my resume. I pushed out a few applications. I might be in Seattle by year's end. I'll miss being 20 minutes from my parents as they get older, but I can't stay here. I can't risk running into her and getting hit with memories of every compromise I made. The day was gray and rainy, which fit. I met Tom for an early dinner. We decided not to drink. My attorney said moving won't affect the financial side. I'll live off PTO through the end of October and use half our liquid savings to relocate and settle. I feel empty. I'm trying to laugh at Tom's jokes, but it's work. I keep getting pulled into this big blank space. I've never seriously thought about ending my life, but the last few days I've had little daydreams about not being here. I'll tell my therapist tomorrow. Megan's been going to the library and reading about relationships. I've been reading Chump Lady, honestly helpful. She got a call from work. I overheard just enough to know she has a meeting tomorrow, even though she called in sick. She tried to sleep with me again, same as the last few nights. I'm torn. I want to feel anything, but the only sex I want is angry and rough, and afterward I feel worse. Monday's abusive session gave me a runner's high and then a crash, and I hated myself. I'm doubting myself about not wanting her back. She screwed up huge, but could I forget or forgive? I'm a not. I laid out rules on camera. This doesn't mean reconciliation. It's probably hysterical bonding. I won't be gentle or considerate, and if we do this, it's because I need to burn it out. She nodded, said she deserved it, and got on all fours. Thursday, D-Day +7. I woke with her spooning me. I listened to her breathing change and could feel her eyes on me. I kept my back turned and asked what the meeting was about. HR, she said. Probably bad. Yup. She asked what she could do to make things even. Nothing. She offered me an open marriage. She'd stay monogamous. I could do whatever. I chuckled. I don't trust you. She said that was fair. Easier to talk with my back turned. Seeing her face makes me mad. I asked what I did to make her so unhappy she did this. She said I was beyond great. I laughed again. Guess that wasn't enough. She said it was the rush, the adventure. She didn't realize until too late that if she got caught, everyone would be wrecked. Confrontation was both a relief and a knife. I made breakfast. At therapy, I told him about resigning, the applications coming in, and the sex rules. We talked through the suicidal thoughts. He didn't judge, just made sure I understood what they were and what to do when they show up. Shorter session, an hour 55. I left with that weird calm. Nothing matters right now. Everything just exists. At home, she was on the couch. She said she got fired. Breach of protocol with client info and data security violations. That's too bad, I said. I worked out and cooked a decent dinner. We ate in near silence. Then she said Ethan got fired too. Good, I said. She claimed she hadn't contacted him in 5 days. I asked why not. They were both free. She could run to her soulmate now. She said I was the only one she wanted. No, I said. You had all of me, and it still wasn't enough. I told her about my compromises, turning down med school to get married and be stable, not wanting children but embracing hers because they were part of her. I made those choices for love. Obviously, I put my faith in the wrong person. If I could time travel, I'd tell 26-year-old me to walk past her. She asked again how to bring us back. I told her I won't ever compromise for her again. That means we can't have a healthy relationship. I'll never love her again. At best, she'd be a body to use, and I don't want to be that person. A week ago, she was my first and last thought every day. Now it physically hurts to think of her. I'm stepping away from posting. I can't keep replaying this. Thank you to everyone who shared their own stories and kindness. I'm still confused about what I want, and I don't know that I'll ever be 100% certain about anything with her again. I've got therapy twice a week for the next month. Update 3. Sorry, folks, the inner Hemingway's tapped out. This won't be as dramatic as the beginning of this beautiful disaster. It's been 5 weeks. I learned more. I moved out 3 days after the last update. Megan keeps texting and leaving notes on my apartment door and car. My lawyer offered to send a cease and desist. I'm considering it. My therapist says I'm making real progress and he's confident I can handle the anger, despair, and depression that hit at first. I agree. Megan and I slept together one last time the night before I moved out. I told her, crystal clear, it meant nothing and wouldn't change my mind about reconciliation. She said she understood, but the constant love bombing says otherwise. She was served the first week of October. Earliest hearing might be January. If she sticks to her word, it'll be quick. If she fights, fine. She landed another job a week after getting fired. Goes to show it's who you know. Anyway, I'm okay. I've accepted who she is as a person and a spouse. I told her I will never forgive her. I'm just acknowledging it happened and moving forward. 2 surprises these last 3 weeks. First, my stepdaughters came to see me. I told them if their mother sent them, they didn't need to do it. The older insisted. Turns out they had a long talk with their mom about the affair and about me. The older one has carried a chip on her shoulder for years. She apologized. Her assumptions were wrong. When I met them, Megan and I had been seeing each other about 4 months, and there was overlap with that on-again/off-again guy. Before me, she'd had another on-off relationship with a man the girls never met. Megan's first husband had cheated. She tried to reconcile. They did for about a year, and then she had a revenge affair with the on-again/off-again guy. The girls thought I was that guy. Their father spent years trash-talking their mother for cheating and never admitted he'd cheated too. Long story short, my oldest apologized and asked for forgiveness for the grief she caused. That weekend was rough. Infidelity and lies ripple out a long way. Second, about the sex some folks criticized, Megan has always been into BDSM. I was lukewarm about it. The point, for me, in those last encounters was that I gave no aftercare. For what it's worth, I took classes and workshops to be a decent dom because it made her happy. That's over. She lost that privilege, and she lost my respect. Usually the death of a marriage. Surprise 2 was a longtime co-worker from another department. Let's call her Jenna. I decided to stay on PRN as needed/part-time. She heard about the divorce and the rumor mill. I wear my wedding ring on a chain now. Jenna insisted on taking me for a drink. I told her I'm not sticking around forever and have zero interest in a relationship. She smiled, squeezed my hand, and said she had no interest in forever either. She just wanted to try me on and blow my mind. We've spent a few nights together. It's been good. She even helped pack my carry-on and dropped me off for an interview in Seattle. I crushed it. A travel agency also called with a bunch of gigs. The idea of contract work and crashing at my parents' place between jobs sounds appealing. I'm not sure yet. It's scary and strangely freeing to not be responsible for anyone else overnight. My lawyer says no alimony or spousal support, and it's a no-fault state, so infidelity doesn't affect the fact of divorce, but proof of cheating can sway the asset split. Could push things 70/30ths my way. We'll have to sell the house. A realtor ran comps. It'll be a big number. Not enough to even out 17 years, but I'm thinking about a 3-month tour of Europe. I'm starting to feel again, and more of it is positive than not. I'm not great, but I'm far from where I was. Thanks, Redditors. Your messages and my therapy both helped. This is my last update. I'm going back to lurking and hoping I never have to post about anything like this again.